Yo, we gotta stop blaming everybody else for Tupac Shakur's actions leading up to his death, right? His untimely death. So I'm watching the Art of Dialogue interview with Ed Lover. And Art brings up the fact that over the years, Ed Lover has kind of blamed Suge Knight for the way Tupac's life started to go once he became a part of Death Row, right? And Ed was basically saying that Suge put the battery in Pac's back for him to wild out when he became a part of Death Row, right? Like he said, it was always like certain things that was going on around Pac, but in so many words, like once he got over there to Death Row, around Suge and his influence, it became magnified. It became basically it became double. Like it intensified and it grew. You know, I guess the fury in Pac or something along that lines, or how Pac was acting, y'all. And I hear what Ed Lover is saying, but I'm gonna be 100% honest, and I've said this in previous videos. When I say this, I'm not trying to disrespect Pac. I'm a humongous Pac fan, right? All Eyes on Me, one of my favorite albums of all time. All time. That's an album I really feel like I have to listen to. Like I cannot. If y'all tell me I can't listen to that no more, I would be upset. I would be pissed. I would be pissed. But let's be for real, y'all. Pac was influenced heavily by that gang life. I believe he got around certain gang members, and I believe I believe he kind of felt influenced, and yeah, I think what's the word I'm looking for? I think he became attracted to that lifestyle. I believe it was something he saw that lifestyle and said, "Man, you know what? I think he fell into it." And I believe it was by choice. Pocket was a grown man when he passed away. Nobody made him do none of that. These are things I feel like the gang culture in LA and California in general, but LA became so popular that it was something that it was a lot of people across the country was influenced by it. You know what I mean? Chicago, my city, we always had our own gang culture, so we never like adapted having Crips and Bloods or nothing like that here because I'm not proud of that when I say that either. You know what I mean? But Chicago always, I shouldn't say we, but I'm in Chicago, but Chicago had already had its own gang culture. But other places started to adapt Bloods and Crips or had their own Bloods and Crips in certain cities and states, etc., because they were so influenced by that. And Pac, honestly, I feel like he was no different. I believe when he got around them Bloods, around Death Row, I believe it added, I believe it made him feel even more invincible. I'm going to say that. Even though Pac talked about death a lot and he spoke about, him not living a long life, I believe that presence of that gang culture around him, yeah, I believe he got really, really influenced by that. And I think he got attracted to that energy and he fell into it willingly. He attached himself to that. Because I think he thought it was marketable for him as well. And not saying that Pac needed that to sell, but it was. But I think he wanted to be the rebel of all rebels at certain times in his life, and that's how he always was. But yeah, I think when he got around that gang culture, yeah, he saw that and was like, "Yo, I'm with it, I'm with it, I'm with it," and he inserted himself in a beef between gangs that he should have never been a part of. He should have never played part in that. And I've made this video time and time again, thousands of times. But what happens is Pac is seen like a deity in our community. Like people look at Pac, I'm looking for my remote. People look at Pac like he is Malcolm X or Dr. Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? There's people that look at him. I mean, I'm being for real. I don't. And this might be a controversial statement. I love Pac. And I love, some of these stances that he took and certain things that he said and certain things that he stood against, for sure. But I don't look at him as Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. I don't, right? But a lot of people do. And because they have that perception of Pac, they don't want to think that he did something wrong. They don't want to think that he was influenced by things, because you like how because I'm sorry, my neck was hurt. In their mind, they're like, how could Pac be influenced by this? But it happens to a lot of people, especially when they're impressionable, you know? And I do believe he got heavily, like, that was something that was attractive to him. And so he got into something he should have never played a part in. A beef with some Crips. He seen a Crip dude, I guess that had a death row chain or something like that, or snatched a death row chain, Orlando Anderson, and stomped him out. As if there wasn't going to be any consequences to that. And I always say this, man, in the streets, ain't nobody playing fair in the streets. And ego will take things to a whole nother level. The moment I believe Orlando Anderson saying the rapper stomped him out, not the gang member, not the dude that's cut from the same cloth as him. I'm not saying Pac was no punk. Pac shot at an off-duty police officer. He didn't know it was a police. You know what I'm saying? He didn't know it at the time, but still, like, he helped a black man in a situation with some white guys, was hemming him up and all of that, right? And so I'm not acting like he was a punk, but I'm saying he wasn't cut from the unaliving cloth that a lot of the gang members are cut from. You know what I mean? And so I believe Orlando saw that like, nah, I can't let him get away with whooping on me. That's not going to stand. Not the dude that makes songs, that was in performing arts school, that, is a artist. Not having it. He not from the same element I'm from, not from the same, like the same element, or he's not from the same makeup as me. I can't let it happen. And I believe they got retaliation. Allegedly. And again, Pac, regardless of death row, getting him out of jail, giving him a record deal, helping him get paid, all of that, you don't step into none of that they got going on in the streets. You leave that alone. Pac walked up on the dude. Y'all seen how Pac was walking in that video. Mike Epps, in his comedy stand-up, he imitates how Pac was walking. Pac was walking on charge, ready to be like ride or die, like he was Mob Piru. Like he was Mob Piru for real, and inserting himself in beefs. Always make the comparison. In Chicago, Illinois, right? You got certain gangster disciples that have been going at it with black disciples for years, right? And let's say I signed to Lil Durk now. I always say this in my prior videos. I signed to Lil Durk. Lil Durk is a black disciple. And they got some beef with some GDs, some gangster disciples. And I happen to be outside and I'm hanging with Durk or one of them or some other people from Durk label, OTF. And I see the GDs that he into it with, and I go up to them and bust off one of them. But them brothers will kill me, dog. Like, what? I don't insert myself in they street drama, they street dealings. I'm not a part of that. I'm an artist. I make music. I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to change my family life. I'm trying to expand my career and get other opportunities to collaborate with other artists. I'm not trying to be in no gang beef, no gang drama. Just because I'm signed to the label don't mean I'm signed to the streets. You hear me? No pun intended, because Lil Durk had a mixtape called Signed to the Streets. Just because I'm signed to the label don't mean I'm signed to the streets. Don't mean I have to take on your beefs in the street. I'm an artist, and I feel like Pac was trying to take on like my Piru beef and be in they stuff because he like, oh, I'm loyal. Listen, be loyal to the record label by making music for the record label, making hits for the record label, performing when a record label needs you to perform. You know what I mean? Shouting the record label out on your songs, supporting other artists on the label, collaborating with them, coming to the video shoots for other or recording artists. That's how you show loyalty to the label. Not by inserting yourself in beefs that the CEO got and the dudes from the CEO's hood got with other people. No, man. And I feel like that was where Pac went wrong. And I saw MC8 speak about this. Pac attaching himself to gang life is where everything started to go backwards for him. And he should have never played a part in stomping Orlando out. He should have never attached himself to that. He should have stayed to the back with that. Because once you do that, you're in it, brother. Once you attack another gang member for no reason, well, because he did something to some people that you in a record label with or some people you hang with, and you ain't got nothing to do with that, oh, man, listen. The war is on. And it shouldn't be like that because I don't like, black men unaliving other black men. I don't want nobody to unalive nobody, but I especially don't like to see my people unaliving each other, nothing like that. I got to say the word unalive like I always tell y'all, because if I say the K word, I already said it one time in this video. And it slipped out. But if I say it too many times, all of that, I could get demonetized. So I can't say the K word like that, right? But yeah, man, but people want to blame everybody else for Pac's demise. And I'm like, no, that was him. He was a grown man. He was 25. But people want to act like 25 is a little bitty kid now because it's Pac. If I would have done it at 25, y'all would call me stupid. Y'all would call me dumb for getting to some stuff that I should have never been in. Y'all would have called me crazy. Y'all would have said I had a death wish. Y'all would have said I just was being a silly, crazy, goofy kid for doing something like that, right? Not kid, but I was being a foolish man. You know what I mean? At 25, I wouldn't have done nothing like that. And now I know y'all gonna say, well, you wasn't making Pac money. You didn't have the fame he had. You didn't have the bravado that he had from being in these music videos and being on top of the world and, having all these different women, etc. Yeah, I hear y'all. But y'all would never allow me to have them excuses if I were to do the same thing Pac did. Y'all would say he should have known better. He should have sat his butt back and never had no part in that. Right? So why we don't want to recognize that Pac got himself into some stuff he shouldn't have never got himself into with that situation with Orlando Anderson. He could have left that alone. It's so weird, though. Orlando Anderson and Pac look alike. It's so weird and so eerie. They look alike. If you see them, Pac and Orlando Anderson, the one he allegedly stomped out, the one he stomped out, they look alike. It's crazy. But yeah, people want to associate the blame, oh, this Suge fault. No, man. Pac wanted to be in that. He wanted to be a part of that. And I feel like, yeah, that gang life, man, a lot of people became infatuated with that. And I believe Pac became infatuated with that to a degree. He had been in California, but from my understanding, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Well, he was in Marine City. What was it called? Is it gangs out there? That's like the Bay Area? Is it? Y'all let me know. From what I understand, do Oakland don't got Crips and Bloods out there, do they like that? From what I don't know. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I'm from Chicago. I've never been to Oakland. You know what I mean? I don't know. See, I think I've heard this before, I believe. So yeah, I believe when he got around them Pirus and stuff like that around Death Row, yeah, I believe that lifestyle, he became infatuated to that gang life and gang culture and attached himself with it, not knowing, I'm sure he knew. But I think he kind of might have felt like, oh, ain't nothing gonna come back too crazy. But we seen how the movie Menace to Society ended. You know what I mean? Like, when he said, I knew they was gonna come back, but not like that. You can never predict how somebody gonna come back, especially when you embarrass them in a situation where you really had nothing to do with what went down. Embarrassing a gang member, you ain't had nothing to do with the situation, and you're the rapper dude and you stump him out. Oh, man. His ego gonna be like, I have to do something, and it's not okay or nothing, but yeah. But we can't blame Suge for that. We can't blame Suge for how Pac responded, what Pac did. He was grown, man, and nobody would give no other 25-year-old no pass for doing something like that and jumping into beef that got nothing to do with him. But we do it for Pac because Pac is universally loved so much, but he was a flawed man. Like a lot of us are. I have flaws in me. And I ain't never gonna act like I don't. Several, right? But people want to act like Pac was flawless. And he wasn't. He was extremely emotional, too emotional at times, and it was not good for him. His emotions would get the best of him, and it landed him in a lot of sometimes beefs that he probably shouldn't have never even been in, and had him lashing out at times in ways he probably shouldn't have lashed out. Like even a situation with him getting upset, and everybody want to make excuses for it. When he's doing Menace to Society with the Hughes brothers, they want him to play Sharif. Pac is upset because he don't want to be the Muslim who don't do nothing street in the movie. And I'm wondering, why was that bothering Pac for? He thought it would hurt his image as a rapper? Bro, you was doing conscious rap when you first came out. When them women and people still gonna love you. You know what I mean? It's like, why did he want to have a street element? He wanted to take, because according to the Hughes brothers and Tyron Turner and Vontae Sweet and those individuals that was around attached to the movie, Pac wanted an explanation, or like show Sharif why Sharif turned Muslim. Show him doing some wild gangster stuff or whatever, which turned him Muslim. Why I gotta be the only one that's righteous and telling people to do the right thing? Pac, why wouldn't you want to be the dude? Why wouldn't you want to play the dude telling people to do the right thing, and the righteous brother that's trying to keep his friends off the road, the path of negativity? Why wouldn't you want to be that role? You spoke about these things in your music, conscious and all that. Like, why wouldn't you want to play that role? And he was having a fit about it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Pac, he has certain stuff in him where you like, he could be overly emotional. That's because that's way too emotional about a role. Why do you want to show you doing some gangster stuff? Yo, all your roles can't be like that, dog. You know what I mean? But people want to make an excuse where the Hughes brothers did them wrong. And no, they didn't. That's their movie. They never intended to show Sharif being a gang member first before being a Muslim. No. He was supposed to be the moral compass for the movie and to keep his friends on track from being foolishness. But he also served as a life lesson to a lot of young people. You can't hang around a certain company and think you will leave unscathed. You can't hang around foul company that do foul things, that rob, unalive people, sell drugs, and think you can hang around them every day and nothing might happen to you. You gotta watch the company you keep. That was the purpose of him in that movie, and to keep his friends remembering what could happen to them and why they need to live right. And you seen through Sharif's father in the movie telling him the hunt is on and you're the prey, played by Charles S. Dutton, telling him to stay on track. Pac didn't want to play that role. For what? So you can't blame Pac's demise on anybody but Pac. You can't blame that on Suge. Pac did what he did, not Suge.